This is Backstage Sonoma, your all-access pass to the local music scene.
Coming to you from beautiful downtown Santa Rosa, this is the Backstage Sonoma podcast. And now, here's your host, Steve Roby.
Greetings, this is the Backstage Sonoma Show, and I'm Steve Roby. I'm thrilled to have Julie Gussaroff from the band The Sweet Lilies with us today. Known for their unique blend of string Americana, the Sweet Lilies mix folk, rock, and even hip-hop while delivering heartfelt music. Julie plays upright bass, vocals, and mandolin in the group, contributing to the band's distinctive sound. They've recently recorded new songs in California with producer Sergio Rios and have been busy this summer touring. Plus, they've got an exciting show coming up at the Sweetwater Music Hall in Mill Valley. Julie will join me shortly to unpack all of this, but first, let's hear a sample of their music. Here's their take on Bad Moon Rising. That was the Sweet Lilies doing Bad Moon Rising from their current album, Cover to Cover. Julie Gussaroff from the band joins me now. Welcome, Julie. Thanks for being here.
Hi, thanks for having me. Very excited to be here.
Let's dive right into it. Julie, the Sweet Lilies have such a distinctive sound and presence. Can you tell us how the band came together and what inspired the creation of your unique string Americana style?
I had been playing in a lot of bands with a lot of different people for quite a number of years. And I reached a point where I became really interested in developing and creating my own sound for my music. I started looking around and meeting with people and seeing if there was anyone who might share a vision of wanting to do a more original and creative project. And maybe even in my mind was like, maybe even people who write songs. Wouldn't that be neato? And happened upon Becca. She and I were the first collaborators in this band. She had emailed me some years before, and she was super young, and she had wanted to work in a band that I was the musical director for. She had heard through the grapevine that they were looking to add a violin. I was getting ready to move on from that project and looking to start my own thing. So I was like, hey, would you be interested in just accompanying me on some solo gigs? And I just wanted to hear how she thought about music. And I had her play a handful of my original tunes. And I thought, boy, she has a really beautiful way of interpreting my songs. And that's how we started working together. And I was like, would you be interested in starting a new band? And she was like, yeah, I very much would be. When I told her at the time, I'm really interested in any kind of writing you might do, she soon after presented me with her first written song, which I thought was incredibly good. And I was like, this is cool. This collaboration is going to go somewhere in my mind. We started playing together and we started working with a number of different type of accompanists. That was the beginning of the concept. And once we booked our first tour, we realized that we were going to have to be the ones to fill out the instrumentation because the gentlemen that we were working with, they were full-time with projects that were far bigger than we were at that moment. And we were not going to challenge their financial agreements and their worlds. And so that's what started the shift over to the string band concept, because originally we were looking at an electric sound across the board. We started touring with Becca and myself and two other accompanists they weren't band members, but they were women who went out on the road with us. And it was lovely to be with them, but it was still me and Becca's project. But really, it was a few years later, I was like, I really want a full-time guitar player so that I'm playing one instrument only, or maybe two. And also someone who's more dedicated to the art form of guitar itself. We happened upon Dustin, and he was playing in a jam band called Low Flying Birds. And they were sort of the bigger thing in his area in Chico, California. Met Dustin, and I was like, he's the guy I would like to work with. We don't poach band members. So I didn't say anything at the time. And I heard a year later through the grapevine that band was disbanding. And I invited Dustin to come out on the road with us a little. And sure enough, he learned every song really fast. I included him in the cut at the end of the show because he knew every song. We sort of rolled like that, and we did a lot of creative work together and started discovering that Dustin writes great songs.
Nice.
I'm a very egalitarian person. I was like, I would like to see everyone's music represented equally here. I think that would be fabulous and dynamic and interesting to me. Then we went in the studio to make Equality with Chris Pandolfi. And Chris was like, your sound would grow with drum. You should have drums. Our manager introduced us to the young man, Jonesy Maynard, who has been our drummer for 2 years, a little over 2 years now. Everybody liked him. He works well with the group. And we've been rolling forward as a 4-piece a little over 2 years. I think everything that we come across has an influence on our sound. And I think Colorado specifically, because it has this culture of like hybrid sounds.
Let's talk about your songwriting process. How does the band come together to create new songs, and what does the process look like?
The process of writing music together often starts conceptually with an ideological foundation for a song. Like let's say I want to write a song about injustice and inequality in America. So I sit down and I start flowing with perhaps some lyrics or perhaps some musical thing that popped into my head. Or I say, hey, Dustin, what do you think about these lyrics? And what do you feel in your body when you hear this? Or, hey, Becca, could you put a little melodic line here? There's also the concept where Becca or Dustin or myself might walk in with a song that we've put together and then we arrange it together.
Your music blends in folk, rock, and even hip hop, and you incorporated that into your style of music. Does it happen organically or through your vast influences?
I'm originally from New York City, and I grew up around the hip hop scene, and I love hip hop music. I remember in rehearsal with Becca in the first year, she was rapping. And it wasn't something she was trying to do live, but she was doing something. And I was like, you're really good at rapping. She had been on the drum line in school, which means her rhythm is excellent. It was pretty stunning. So that's how we incorporated like hip hop. I was like, I want you to write a written word thing. Give me something. And we'll put some vocals around it. And then if you think about Dustin's kind of a rock and roll guy. And so he'll bring in those concepts. He knows every Jimi Hendrix song. He'll bring in some idea that comes from inside of him. And I think Becca has this kind of dark punkish thing going on. And our drummer grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. So his ideas are really progressive.
Up next is Tables Turning from the Equality record. What can you tell us about the song and the album?
The Equality is a big step in a different direction for us. It was where, like I said, we really started experimenting with drums and rhythm. It was supported and produced by Chris Pandolfi of the infamous String Dusters. And he's like a very thoughtful, intelligent musician. And he asked us to find in this process a savage side of ourselves, a side of ourselves that was a little grittier. He was like, we know what pretty is for you guys. We can make pretty vocal harmonies. We can do, but he was like, I want to hear something gritty, savage. Tables Turning is a rock song, really, at its core. I see it growing into that more and more. It always makes me think of Bob Dylan's song, The Times They Are Changin', because tables turning, the concept, it's like of being able to see the progression from how perspectives change and juxtapositions change in the world, in our lives, in our work, in our relationships. That shift in juxtaposition is present in the song Tables Turning.
I made it into something I can see through just so I can look away. I've bitten into something that I can't chew. Now I got nothing to say. Taking steps to forget about what I knew. I was yelling, come what may. Between two places, tearing out the pages. Start to feel the binding break. I don't know how you take it so easy. Don't know why I gotta take it so low. I can feel the tables turning. I know I'm gonna have to let it go. This time we're taking more than waking. We make it into something more. You know you're never gonna get an answer. Keeping one foot out the door. Beside my mind, pockets hanging open. You ask me what I came here for. Sometimes I think we understand the reason, but I could never be too sure. I don't know how you take it so easy. Don't know why I gotta take it so low. I can feel the tables turning. I know I'm gonna have to let it go. Ooh, we made it through over the lines we drew. Yeah, the ties were holding fast, trying to find the words as the phrases turn, but the moments pass. I catch my stride and settle into motion, knowing that the chips are down. What you are holding isn't just for show. Keep an eye on what you keep around. I couldn't see the mark that I was leaving, running it into the ground. I'm out here making circles, trying to track down something you already found. I don't know how you take it so easy. Don't know why I gotta take it so low. I can feel the tables turning. I know I'm gonna have to let it go. Don't know how you take it so easy. Don't know why I gotta take it so low. I can feel the tables turning. I know I'm gonna have to let it go. I know I'm gonna have to let it go.
That was the Sweet Lilies doing Tables Turning, and my guest today is Julie Gussaroff from the Sweet Lilies. Julie, your band has been working on some new material recorded in California with producer Sergio Rios. Can you share a bit about what the experience was like and how it felt to record in LA?
Walking into Sergio's studio, you just get this powerful sense of his music because it's just all over the walls and it's all over the room. He's so accomplished and he's such an interesting person and so talented. Coming in to record in LA with him was very inspiring. He said to us right away, if anyone has an idea, let's just try it rather than talk about it. And I was like, yes, because it takes a lot more time to discuss an idea than it does to try it. And of course, at the end of the day, if we hire him to produce, we're going to take his direction at the end of the day. But I love that he created space for each of us to have creative ideas and share those ideas. I feel like it was very inclusive, comfortable, gentle. He just makes it really comfortable. You just get in there and you don't want to leave. It's awesome. Yeah, he's awesome.
When can we look forward to the new release?
I'm certain it's next year,
Okay.
but I'm not sure when.
Okay. Do you have a working title?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's still getting there, yeah?
This is all very, very preliminary.
I imagine you'll make an announcement on social media when the time comes.
Oh, we will. And he's still mixing, and so we'll be going back and forth and listening.
Will you be playing any new music at the upcoming show in Mill Valley?
We absolutely will.
Okay,
we'll have
cool.
a good chunk of original new music.
All
Yeah.
right. Let's play another track from Equality. What can you tell us about the song Words?
Words is another step forward in this really different style that we're growing this sound of the spoken word with the singing, our version of that. And Words is interesting because it is about the process of trying to convey meaning properly with words, which isn't easy for everyone. And getting tripped up on our words, knowing how to say what we mean. This can be all the big challenge of communication and relationship with others. And so I think Words has a real grittiness about having interpersonal dynamics and words together, words internally, words externally.
Here's Words by the Sweet Lilies on Backstage Sonoma.
Saving up my words for a rainy day, but I'm in a drought. I've been holding out for something that was never even on the table. I've been able to adjust my point of view enough to see the dirt inside the lens that I'm looking through. Incomplete sentences hang on my lips. Now I'm spitting out a mouthful of words I overheard. My vision's blurred, but I think I'm coming to grips with the crooked way it sits, with the way my skin fits. There were 10 years hanging in the paper on the wall. I tore it all down, looking for something I never found. Since then, I've been holding my breath, trying not to offend, but now the monkey on my back is calling friends. Don't let up until you get it right. We're gonna make our way a little at a time. Take a closer look and try to understand it. I see my hands off, approach has left me empty-handed. No more dipping toes, I'm jumping in. The jig is up, what might have been fine, but that's not what's on the line. Who are the words for? What do they bring? Are you taking it somewhere you want to go, or are you settling? I slow myself down and I take a step back and I ask, are you really seeing what you're looking at? Some things are made to keep us desperate and separate. Remember, we can make a choice and redirect it. Bring it back to the point, we are one and the same. You don't change the face when you change the name. Don't let up until you get it right. We're gonna make our way a little at a time. It's a ceiling that I'm breaking through, turn it into something new until the walls around me fall. I'm making alterations from the ground up. Foundation isn't sound, but I'm intertwining with the silver lining till my body gets a hold of my mind. Let up until you get it right. We're gonna make our way a little at a time. Don't let up until you get it right. We're gonna make our way a little at a time.
My guest today is musician Julie Gussaroff. Julie, you and the band had quite a busy touring schedule this past summer. Were there any particular shows or moments on the road that created some special memories for you?
I think running back and forth across the country, like in a week span almost, to get from Maryland to LA back to Maryland, because we had festivals back to back. And then this window for recording had opened up with Sergio. And it was so small of a window, we had to make it work. I don't know, just the commitment to doing stuff is just so amazing with this band to me. We had to get all the way to LA and back to Maryland. And then we were playing our first ever time at Delfest, our debut set at Delfest. And what a magnificent time on both ends of this journey. We headlined Cheat Festival, which was incredibly awesome. And then we came back to work at Delfest, which was such a special group of people and so many friends. And I felt like we were inspired to write more on the road because this was like such a madness of journey. I think just the way the band supported each other through some of these lack of sleep moments and long drives and just deepened our commitment to each other.
I had the pleasure last year when I was doing radio in Denver of seeing the last waltz at the Fillmore, and you guys were on the show, and your segment was so amazing. So you guys put really a lot of energy into a show.
Yeah, we do. Yes. Live shows are incredible.
What do you enjoy most about performing live?
I think for us, it's the shared experience with the audience and us. So we become very present in the moment when we're on stage and we're feeling all of our care and love for humanity, and the joy of performance is not a one-sided experience. It's the audience and the performers are together creating an energy and a flow that is spiritual. It's a whole different thing than just making a song. When the crowd becomes part of it, for me personally, if I'm talking about something that's really important, when people are listening, or Becca's talking, or Dustin is, and I mean speaking in the words of a song, or musically, the audience is really a participant, and we're listening to you guys. We're watching your body language and your facial expressions. And I think that's what it is to be part of a performance.
You talked a little bit about it earlier, but the Sweetwater Music Hall show, but is there anything special the fans can look forward to at this performance?
We're going to have a bunch of new material. I think we can just look forward to connecting in with the whole audience and connecting in together and having a rich, beautiful experience together.
Let me remind our listeners, the Sweet Lilies will perform at the Sweetwater Music Hall. A lot of sweetness going on there. At the Sweetwater Music Hall on Wednesday, September 25th. Doors open at 7 p.m. and showtime is at 8. Tickets can be purchased at sweetwatermusichall.com. Be sure to visit the Sweet Lilies website for their music and schedule. Go to sweetlilies.com. Julie, thanks so much for coming on the show. I really appreciated the conversation.
Thanks so much for having me, Steve, and I really look forward to seeing you guys.
Backstage Sonoma will be right back after this quick break.
Welcome to Backstage Sonoma, your all-access pass to the heartbeat of the Bay Area music scene. From jazz to rock, blues to world music, we bring you intimate conversations with the artists shaping our soundscape. Hear their stories, explore their inspirations, and dive deep into the creative process that makes each performance unforgettable. Hosted by Steve Roby, seasoned radio personality and best-selling author, Backstage Sonoma has featured Grammy winners like Judy Collins, Colby Kyle Lott, Leslie Mendelsohn, and chart-topping guitarist Adam Hawley. With over 200 episodes and 4 years of exclusive content, we keep you connected to the local and touring musicians making waves today. Whether you're a lifelong music lover or discovering new tunes, join us on Backstage Sonoma, available on all major streaming platforms, including YouTube. Don't miss a beat, subscribe now, and be part of our growing community of listeners. Backstage Sonoma, where the music never stops.
Thanks for listening to the Backstage Sonoma podcast. Join us next time for more great interviews and music from local and touring musicians. You can find us on the web at backstagesonoma.com.